Welcome to Amya channel. The coming examination, that is CTT examination, there teachers are exactly going to sit for CTT preparatory CTT examination. There you have to exactly out of 150 have to score 60 marks. So their maths and science is one of the part where you can score as much as possible. So now maths will be of 30 marks, and in that 30 marks 15 marks will be pedagogy related and 15 marks will be subject related. In science also 15 marks will be pedagogy and 15 marks will be subject. So total 630 and 30 16 mark is in your hand. If you will prepare maths and science itself now very nicely, you will be able to do it and you will be able to clear the paper very nicely. So without wasting time, every time I'm just going to solve some sample papers where you are exactly going to understand the content nicely and learn the part nicely. So more questions and more answers, the more you will encounter, the more you will learn nicely. So first I'm starting with maths paper. In one shot I will be finishing 30 questions, maths 30, science 30. First question is, if two quantities x and y vary inversely with each other, then which one of them following is correct? So two quantities are there. We don't know what that quantity is there. So that is exactly given. The quantity given is values and nothing else is given. What they are telling that two quantities x and y vary inversely. Vary inversely means if one is increasing, another one is decreasing. See, there are two type of variations. One is when one is increasing, another one will also increase. That is exactly called as directly proportional. So here it is exactly inversely proportional. Inversely proportional means the sign of proportionality will be going as x is inversely proportional to y. This is x is inversely proportional to y, and here y will be inversely proportional to x. They are telling like this only in the statement. Now out of this, which one is exactly going to be the correct answer? Which one is exactly going to be the correct answer? Product of their corresponding values remain constant. First one. Then summation of their corresponding values remain constant. Summation means sum. Means when you will add the values, it is going to be constant. Now difference. Difference means when you will subtract the value, then it will be constant. Now ratio of their corresponding value remain constant. So four options are there. When this type of questions will be coming in the examination, you will get totally confused that which part to be right first. Because here first part is given that sum. First part is their product of their corresponding values remain constant. Means when you will multiply them together, then the value what is coming is going to be constant. When you will be adding them, then their corresponding values will be constant. When they will be finding the difference of that, then their corresponding value will remain constant. Or when you will find the ratio of that, then the corresponding value will remain constant. So product of their corresponding values. So first we are going to understand the condition. What is condition given here? What is condition given here is x is, the most important condition given here is x is inversely proportional to y. So to remove the sign of proportionality, what we are doing is we are writing x equal to m by y. Okay, why? Because proportionality is not the sign of equality. Proportionality means if you will increase, I will decrease. But exactly by what value one is increasing, another one is decreasing, we don't know. So to remove the sign of proportionality, what we are doing, we are exactly writing some constant. So the moment we will add some constant in the part, it will exactly going to become what? It is exactly going to become equal. Where what is m? M is here constant. M is constant. In the same way, what they are telling that y is inversely proportional to x. So if y will be inversely proportional to x, then y will be equal to n by x. Now here n is constant. Okay, so now xy equal to m we are getting and xy equal to n we are getting. So always we are seeing that the product of their corresponding value, the product, not the addition. Here addition of value, subtraction of value or division of value is coming constant? No. Here product of their corresponding value is coming constant. So m is a constant, n is a constant. When you will multiply them, x into y, because the moment you will shift it that side, so x into y equal to m or x into y equal to n, that is coming constant. So your correct answer will be product of their corresponding value remains constant. So how to catch the correct part here? To catch the correct part here, you have to just see what relation they are generating. And from the beginning itself, the relation is quite sure. Now look here, x equal to 1 by, so any constant k if you will put by y, if you will multiply, so product is coming, and product is coming equal to k, and k is constant. So product is there and product is constant. Okay. Now next question is, given here, what question is exactly given here is 7y into 6 equal to y. So what you are going to multiply here, instead of y, what value you are exactly going to put, so that exactly it is going to come as y, means all the three values will be equal. Don't waste your time in these type of questions. Trust me, whatever options are there, just supply that option and check. 7, 6, 6, 6, 6, 36, 3, 7, 7, 6, 42, 44, 45. So this option is wrong, because here all three will be y. So if you are taking here if you are exactly, here 6 is there na, so instead of y we have taken 6. Now it is not coming as 6, 6, 6, here it is coming as 4, 5, 6. Now again 7, instead of y we will take 4 and 6 is there. Let us see 4, 4, 4 is coming or not, because if you are taking y here 4, then all three will have to be 4. So now 6, 4, 24, 2. Now 7, 6, 42, 43, 44. Your answer is 4. Nothing you have done here. What you did, 7 into y into 6, 7y into 6 is there. So instead of y, what we did, we put 4. The moment we put 4 here, so 7, 4, 6 into is there, 6, 4, 24 and 2. 7, 6, 42, 44. If you don't trust, then check the other value also one time. In examination, many a times what happens, that we get confused. 7, 6, 7, 12 and 7, 6, 42, 43. So it is not dissatisfying. That means other two values will not satisfy, so they will not become the answer. So this is exactly a jackpot question. When these type of questions will come, never leave the question. Now, to fill a rectangular tank of area 700 square meter, 140 cubic meter of water is required. What will be the height of the water level in the tank? There is a shortcut formula. I am going to tell you, it will help very nicely. First understand the question and after that apply that part there. Now, very simple section is one tank is there. So in examination, don't draw also. You are not needing to draw. So what they are telling, that area means length into area, rectangular tank. So rectangular tank is there, means it is a cuboidal tank. We need not to go anywhere. Trust me, we need not to go anywhere. There, one simple formula will help you. But one thing I must tell you, that what is this 700 square meter? 700 square meter is exactly the surface area or lateral surface area of the cuboid. Lateral surface area of the cuboid means here this is exactly length, breadth and height. So total surface area of this will become 2 LB plus BH plus LH. So this value they have already given as 700 square meter. So you need not to find this value, and after that they are telling that volume also is there. Now volume of cuboid is, this is TSA, and volume of cuboid given is 140 cubic meter. So both things they have given and they are asking height. Now are you going in examination hall to find length, breadth and height? Why we are needing length, breadth and height? One simple formula is there, and formula is volume of a figure will be equal to area into height. So volume will be equal to area into height. Area into height is a very important formula. So volume of any dimension, if you want to go there, it will become area into height. And total surface area already given, and they are asking for what? They are asking for height, and volume also they have given. So volume is 140 equal to surface area given 700 into height. So 140 by 700 equal to height. This cancel, then 7 2s are 14, 10. So it is coming 1 by 5. So height is coming as 1 by 5 meter. So answer is coming in centimeter. So we know that 1 meter equal to 100 centimeter. 1 meter equal to how much centimeter? 100 centimeter. So here 100 by 5 will come. So it will become 20 centimeter. Now check, where is 20 centimeter? The first option itself is telling 20 centimeter. So now we will go for next question. Which of the following is the most suitable strategy to teach the skill of addition of money? Now look here. What is addition of money? Like small children, a small child is there and you are teaching that small child the addition. Means here what you are teaching? Addition of money. Not simple addition, you are teaching addition of money, like 5 rupee plus 2 rupee, 5 rupee plus 50 paise will be, what will be the value? Then there, what a teacher has to do? She has to apply role play. She has to apply use of models. So she is going to use some tools here. Models means what? She is going to use some tools here. Doing lots of problems means you will give child that you solve here this question like 5 rupee 50 paise plus 3 rupee, like you are going to go for a, like you have to give so much questions so that the child will understand money problems. No, money related problem is a day-to-day technical problems which we solve without knowing maths. Okay. So there, when we were small, our mother used to give us like 5 rupees, 10 rupees, 15 rupees, and she used to tell that go and buy certain things. When we used to go there and buy, then in return what money they were giving, we used to calculate that. So that calculation comes with experience. So that means what we have done? We have done a role play. We played there the role of our parent, because instead of our parent, we went there and we bought the same things, and in return they gave us money and then we calculated it. So that means what? Rather than going for a mathematical calculation or going for use of ICT, use in are we going to use some technology here? No need of technology here. A simple role play is enough. A simple role play is enough, like when you will be given 10 rupees and again 50 paise, then again 20 rupees, then again 2 rupees. So that means what? Every time you are giving some money to a child and then you are telling that okay, subtract this much amount or take this much amount or give this much amount. So that is exactly comes under role play. So 100% when you want the child to learn addition of money, the best part is role play. The best part is exactly what? Role play. Now look here, this question is a very important question. After teaching the concept of multiplication to her class, a teacher asked her children to multiply 48 by 4. A teacher asked what from children? To multiply 48, to multiply what? To multiply 48 by 4. So simple concept has been used here. So what is the simple concept used here is the teacher is teaching in class multiplication, and after teaching multiplication she is telling the child to multiply 48 by 4. Simple multiplication here. So now one of her student solved it orally as to multiply 48 by 4. We first add 48 plus 48, which makes 96, and then add another 96 to reach 192. So the answer is 192. What can you say about his or her strategy of multiplication? So now what happened here exactly is the child is using some strategy here. So simple concept is there that when we know that multiplication is a type of addition, what is exactly I am talking about? I don't know. But I am telling that multiplication is a type of addition. Means what? If somebody will be telling you that 10 into 2 is there, 10 into 2 is there, that means what? 10 into 3 is there, means I can write 10 3 times. So 10 plus 10 plus 10 will become 30, or directly we will write 30 into 10. Yes or no? So this is the strategy is there, and the child used the same strategy. First what he did? Exactly 2 into 48 did 96. So now 96 means 4 times is there. So double of 96 will be what? Double of 96 will be 192. So the concept is understandable that the child is using that addition part. But now what options are given to you? He or she has not understood the concept of multiplication, means what you are going to take as the correct answer. Means the child is not knowing the concept of multiplication. The given problem is a multiplication problem and not addition problem. So teacher is going to scold the child, that hey, this is the addition multiplication problem, how can you add? No, he or she understood multiplication as repeated addition. So the child has understood that multiplication is nothing but repeated addition. The way I did 10 into 3 is 10 plus 10 plus 10. Now the child used a wrong method of multiplication, or he or she use the place value algorithm to multiply the number. So this is exactly a stupid statement. The child used a wrong method to multiply. No, the child is not using any wrong method to multiply. The child is exactly doing the correct work only, na. That 48 into 2 and then 48 into 2, 96 plus 96. So definitely, but what the child has used is, the correct part the child has used is, he or she understood multiplication as repeated addition. So no other option, you have to go to this answer. You have to go to this answer, that addition, repeated addition is nothing but multiplication. Simple part, option clear. Okay, simple part, option clear. So here answer will be C. So now look here, you have to do what? You have to keep on seeing the question. So when I am reading out the question, before itself read the question and keep an option ready for your brain. And then check that my option and your option are exactly matching or not. Second time I am taking water but not drinking. Now which of the following should be taken up as initial activity in introducing the concept of time to young learners? So which activity is exactly used? Now first I am going to understand what is the statement is about. So the moment this question will be given in the question paper, first you will be thinking, hey, what concept they have given, what they are exactly wanting. Now read, which one of the following should be taken? Means out of these 4 options, which one should be taken to initial activity, taken as initial activity in introducing the concept of time to young learners. The concept of time to young learners means what? If you want to teach time, like in clock, what is means how we can see that when 2 o'clock will be there, when 2:30 will be there, when 4 o'clock will be there, what is 2 past 4, what is 5 minutes to 10, like that concept. If a teacher wants to teach, then what that out of this, which one the teacher is exactly going to take? So the question will be teaching children how to read time in clock. Yeah, time in clock means in clock you will say that is that is 2, the minute hand is in 2 and the hour hand is in 4, like that teacher will teach. Now teaching children how to calculate I don't think elapsed time. So now calculating elapsed time is like first time a learner is learning and you are telling that, hey, this is that time, that is that time. So the child will get confused. Conversion of time in different units. Why we are going to convert time in different units? It will be done when you will go in 2nd or 3rd level. Discussing about the prior experience with phrases related to time. This is exactly, so you itself understand that when you are learning time for first time and you are exactly going to see time then and learn, then what you are going to use? First one you will going to use or 4th one? So usually what happens now, when we will be writing examination now, so our focus goes for first one. And like we will forget all the 4 options, and like teaching children how to read time in clock will set in our brain and we will say this is the only answer, because we will be exactly so much focused towards first point. But 2nd and 3rd point you cancel. 2nd and 3rd point will not be taken. But the most important thing here is 2nd and 3rd point will not be taken. Now 1st and 4th, because 1st and 4th are very very important for young learners. To know the gaps in children understanding. Okay, where I went? No. So here. So now that means 1st and 2nd and 3rd is exactly not going to be taken. So now teaching children how to read time in clock, or discussing about the prior experiences with phrases related to time. So first a teacher specifically for young learner, what she will do? She will directly start with clock, or she will first teach with phrases. Like 12 o'clock will be there. So some phrases she is going to make and she is exactly going to teach a prior experience she is going to ask. Like early to bed and early to rise, that poem is there. So that poem will be there. Some phrases she is going to make. Now you might have seen that small children like 3-4 class children, they might be exactly seeing time in a different way, like 6 o'clock waking up. So now 6 o'clock waking up, so they understand that 6 o'clock is the morning time. then 6 o'clock go to play. So 6 o'clock also comes in evening time. Now 9 o'clock you should go for sleep. 9 o'clock is the lunch time in school. So that means 2 times 9 o'clock is coming, 2 times 6 o'clock is coming. So when we write the statements and we try to teach the student about timelines, so first they will understand that okay, these times are existing 2 times. So first they will understand that. Then 10 past 3. Okay, 10 past 3 is what? 10:30. So 10 past 3. When 10 past 3 will be 3:10, sorry, 10 past 3. So 3:10. So then they will be telling you school overtime is 3:10. So now these contents will be running in the child brain again and again. And then when you will show them a clock or something, and then you will share, then you will know, you will exactly see one thing, that is whatever came in the brain as a statement will exactly get a picture, and then the child will learn nicely. So correct answer will be fourth option. Okay, pedagogy means total confusion part will be there. So you have to learn to come out of it. Now, which one of the following is not the purpose of assessment? Purpose of assessment. What is exactly called as assessment? What is assessment? Why we do assessment? See, look here. Assessment means what? When a child when we are doing assessment, our main concept is how much a child has learned in the class. So assessment is of many types. So that assessments I'm going to teach in the next, whenever some questions will be coming, I'll keep on teaching about assessment. But most important thing is, what is the main purpose of assessment? Why we take assessment test? Summative test is there, assessment test was there. So exactly we use these words, but what is the real meaning? Real meaning is to take out the amount of learning what the child is having. Okay, so what is the following is not the purpose of assessment, not the purpose of assessment. Monitoring student growth. How much the student has exactly grown, that much growth we have to monitor. For that only we are doing assessment. Making instructional decision. Instructional decision means what? Ki after teaching something, like in maths, like 4 plus 3 is 7, 2 plus 4 is 6. Okay, so when we give instructions like this, so the child will be understanding this one. So that assessment, like ki now I taught a child like ki 4 plus 3 is 7, then 2 plus 6 is like, say 2 plus 6 is 8. So like that I taught the child. Then after that I'll take the assessment by giving another 2 digits and telling that to add. So that is exactly the purpose of so here making instructional decisions, the child will be able to use that instructions or not, that will be exactly. So select the correct answer using the quotes given below. So what will be the correct answer? Now evaluating the effectiveness of curriculum. So you made a curriculum, you made chapters, means what? Whatever curriculum has been made for the child, assessment real condition is to exactly evaluate that curriculum what we have made, the chapters what is exactly given to the student, that curriculum is correct or wrong. So assessment part is exactly going for curriculum. Ranking the children based on performance. This is the most wrong method. This is the most wrong method. Never we have to do this. In assessment part, never assessment is telling that you are exactly, because they're telling which one of the following is not the purpose of assessment. So is this not the purpose of assessment? Ranking the children based on performance. Is this not the purpose of assessment? Yes, this is not the purpose of assessment. Monitoring student growth is the purpose of assessment. Student growth means what? How much the child has learned, that is the purpose of assessment. Means what? When we teach how much the child has learned, that is the most important purpose of assessment. Making instructional decision, they are learning or not, that is the purpose of assessment. Evaluation is one of the part of assessment, but ranking is never correct, because it demotivates a child. Like if you will say you got first rank, you got second rank, you got third rank, then the child who is exactly below average will feel that ki I don't stand in front of them, and that statements will go demotivating. So the child needs encouragement. So the first important priority is we should exactly stop this ranking effort. We should say that average score is this much, below average is this, above average is this. So that is exactly the correct answer is exactly D. Means wrong statement is D and correct answer is D. Now, which one of the following method is most suitable for teaching mathematics at upper primary level? So if you want to be a teacher of if you want to be a teacher of means upper primary level, then which method you are going to adopt? Lecture method? Like you will say, hey, you use 3 4s are 2, 3 4s are 12, 5 6 are multiplication can be accepted. But if I will solve a question 3x plus 4y equal to 7, like that lecture method, if I will say, then will it work? Because the child will only hear. The child will not have that frame of the question answers in their brain. So that capturing section will not be there, because eye ear and brain, they all are exactly coordinated. So what we see first, what we hear, and then what we see and what we speak, all are interconnected. So now that means lecture method is not going to work. Now activity based learning somewhat, but not to that level. So here the most important will be coming is problem solving method. How much the child will be capable of solving, how much the child will be exactly capable of solving, that much the child will be learning. So demonstration method always will not be applicable. So the correct method will be coming here, problem solving method. The correct method coming here is problem solving method. Now the next one is, which one of the following is most essential in learning mathematics at upper primary level? So which one is exactly going to be taken as most essential in learning? Exploring different ways of solving a problem, memorizing all formula, wrong. See, look here, always don't prefer this one. Memorizing something is never good. Learning something. So when we say that our curriculum is saying that rather than mugging, rather than telling the child to go for repeated conversation of a particular statement, that is exactly called as, so the memorizing should never be done. In like memorizing all formulas are exactly not good. See, you give the formula and give some questions, so that the child will play with that formula by solving those questions. Okay, then correctly that statement along with different type of problems, it will come and it will exactly frame in the brain, and then the child will slowly understand that okay, this is the way to use. Because when you are giving 10 rupees, you are giving the child that okay, and telling that go and buy something market, now slowly and steadily the child will learn that 10 rupees is a small amount and I cannot buy big things from that. Next time when you will give 10 rupees, the child will understand that, and the child will ask that no, don't give me 10, with 10 I can't buy anything, give me at least 100 rupees. So the child is also knowing the limitations. So here memorizing formula, no, give formula and give certain different questions related to it. So that is comes under exploration. That will come under what? That will come under exploration. Now memorizing, copying correctly what teacher is writing in the board. This is exactly no. Solving problem many times. Yeah, practicing a question is correct, but not to exploring different ways of solving problem. This gives a better dimension, bigger dimension of solving. So exactly when a child sees a question by 3 different ways, that means that the child is learning that how to solve a question in what way. So when subjective examination will be coming, the child will be writing in subjective way. When objective will be coming, the child is knowing how to handle it in objective examination. So that's why exploration is always very, very important. Exploration is always very, very important. Now shall we go for question number 40? Now 40 question, what it is telling that the strategy of questioning used in the mathematics class at upper primary level. So what is the strategy of questioning? What is the strategy of questioning? The strategy of questioning used in the mathematics class at upper primary level. Make the classroom noisy, as the children would be talking too much, could create okay, it's exactly blur, I can't be able to see what word is written among children, and many leads them to accept the teaching authority. No, you are going to stress. Okay, stress could create stress among children. No, stress creation is exactly a stupid effort. The teacher should never stress a child. It is never allowed. The child should be learning in a very free and comfortable environment. Help children to express their thoughts for understanding and think critically. This is the most important part always in all the curriculum. NCF exactly force for this one, that you have to express, you have to allow the child to express their views and understanding. Means once you taught, after that you keep on asking from the children, that you keep on asking from the child or keep on asking from the group that did you understood it, and always make ease that yes, I'm there to support you, and I want you to know that I'm here to support and I'm here to let you learn. So you have to become a facilitator there. You have to exactly allow the child to understand that you are not a strict teacher, you are a supportive teacher. And once you will be doing this, so exactly what will happen, the child will come in that frame of mind of understanding, the child will get eased, and the child will express their views. Okay, so if they will understand, they will say yes, and if they will not understand, they will exactly say no. So next is, a teacher has taught measurement of area to class 8, but many of her students are confused between usage of different units of area and volume. What could be the reason for such a confusion in children? So what is exactly the question given here? 41 is कि the teacher has taught measurement here, and now students are exactly confused. They are unable to understand the concept of surface area and volume, specifically with units. Units means conversion of meter to kilometer, conversion of meter to centimeter. So that conversion is not coming to the child. So what we are going to exactly do there? What is exactly could be the correct reason behind the child? The children, the students are getting confused. The children have not memorized different unit. No, only memorization of different unit is not going to work here. Different units have been introduced all together without relating them with daily life. The concept of measurement of area is a difficult concept. The children did not know use of units for area. See, children are confused, but they are not totally unknowing. They are not totally not knowing the concept is not there. They told that the teacher has introduced the concept and taught. So the students are knowing, but they are not totally knowing the connection between conversion. So here the correct answer will be option 2, that different units have been introduced all together without relating them with each other. So the teacher exactly expressed that, oh, this is centimeter, this is kilometer, but she has failed to express the conversion of unit. Like conversion of unit means, if you are a teacher and you are exactly teaching millicenti, so here first work is when you are introducing surface area and volume, so what should be in lower class level, what should be taught there? So millicenti, decimeter, deca, hecto, kilometer. Now the teacher should teach that whenever you will go up one step up, that means 1 meter will be equal to 10 decimeter. So that means 10 decimeter will be equal to 1 decimeter equal to 1 by 10 meter. So like this conversion system or this relation, like 1 centimeter to meter. So centimeter is a smaller unit, meter is a bigger unit. 2 steps down you are going. So 1 centimeter equal to 1 by 100 meter. So 20 you put. Like that the teacher should teach from meter to kilometer. How many steps you are going down? 1, 2, 3 steps. So 1 meter, since you are going down, divide. So 1 2 3 unit meter. So 1 meter equal to 1 kilometer equal to 1 meter equal to 1 by 1000 kilometer. So this connectivity teacher has not taught, and she taught the chapter. So children will be confused now. She taught everything. So here the third last option will not be there. The children did not know the concept of unit formula. They are knowing that units are there, but they don't know how to utilize and connect the unit. So this, if will taught in the class, the children will be able to utilize it and they will be understanding how to convert it also. So second, so different units have been introduced. One time itself the teacher has introduced, but she did not clarify the concept. That's why the concept confusion is exactly coming. Now next question is, which of the following can be the most appropriate aim of encouraging mathematical communication in a classroom? So if you are a mathematics teacher and you are exactly want to communicate mathematically in a classroom, so how you are exactly going to communicate? Children who have fear among mathematics should be able to interact in the class. So those who are having fear, they should talk as much as possible. To organize debate in the class regarding topics of mathematics, children should be able to recite theorems and formulas only, letting them memorize the formulas will going to help. Now children should be able to use a precise language while talking about mathematical statements and using them. So which one you feel, which one of the following can be the most appropriate aim of encouraging mathematical communication in classroom? See, always I have said one very important thing, that key communication, like when we speak in English, we know how to communicate in English. When we speak in Tamil, we know how to communicate in Tamil. When we speak in Hindi, we know how to communicate in Tamil. But when we speak in mathematics, mathematics is also a language for me. Science is also a language for me. Because in mathematics, when we are studying geometry, then we will be talking about angles and all. So in a classroom, when we are teaching a specific chapter, that time talking about that chapter and talking about the content related to that chapter will be very, very important. How much we will be introducing the words related to that chapter will be there, that much that child will learn. So 100% children should be able to use a precise language while talking about mathematical statements and using them. So precise language they are going to use at the time of talking, like sum of angles of triangle is 180 degree. So sum of angles of triangle is exactly 180 degree. And you know what, when you are talking about quadrilateral are having exactly two triangles inside it. So two triangles means what? One triangle is exactly 180 degree, then two triangle means 360 degree. Okay, then pentagon, how many internal angles? What will the total internal angles for a pentagon? So exactly what you have done, you are talking in mathematical language, you are using English for communication, and in that you are exactly teaching the concept of mathematics. I hope you might have understood this part. Now the next question is, the purpose of a diagnostic test in mathematics is to give feedback to the parents. Okay, so why we are taking a diagnostic test? We want a diagnostic test to give feedback to the parents. Okay, to fill the progress report. Okay, the child has progressed on. So making report card is the only purpose of diagnostic test. So what test we are taking there? Finally, it is to give the parents the feedback. Means we are dying to call the parents and just burst on the parent that, hey, your child don't know these things. So that is the feedback process. So we are going to give that feedback only to fill the progress report card. Okay, how much child has to prepare the question paper for end term examination. Okay, or to know the gaps in children understanding. This is the most important part. See, we are not making a question paper for telling the student that, see how much I am knowing, and like that level I can ask questions. So definitely your knowledge level, a teacher knowledge level is not checked there. What is exactly checked there in diagnostic test is how much the learner has learned. Okay, so to fill the gap, to know the gaps in children understanding, means when a teacher taught in the class, how much the child has understood, that is exactly the most important thing. So when we are taking such diagnostic test, the diagnostic test is not to give the feedback to the parent. See, you will call a parent and you will speak in front of that parent 1 hour, but the parent will only ask one question from you. Ma'am, it is only 50-50 relation. Half of the time my child is in school, half of the time my child is in home, and rest time what he is doing is he is sleeping also, playing also. Everything is important. So how much part is there we are doing, how much part you are doing. So exactly while this conversation will go negative. So rather than that, giving any feedback to a parent, our duty is what? Our work is to fill the gap. So first, when we are taking diagnostic test, we have to be very flexible that, okay, first to know how much the child has learned. Once we are knowing that, okay, this is the gaps there, still the student has not understood chapter 2, chapter 4, chapter 7. So that means still they are exactly in incomplete zone of understanding, and in higher classes it will become more problem for them. So first know the child weakness and strength. That should be the part of diagnostic test. Okay, so that means 4 is the answer. Remedial teaching is helpful for. What is remedial teaching? Remedial teaching is exactly done when the child is not at all, we are not seeing any growth in the child, then extra we are calling the child and teaching that in simple way. That is remedial teaching. So now in remedial teaching, if we want, so remedial teaching will be what? Recapitulating the lesson, teaching in playway method, removing learning difficulties of weak student. So remedial is exactly that only. Remedial teaching will be including like when a child is exactly weak and unable to stand, because a classroom is not like all intellectuals are sitting. So there is exactly all level of students are there. So among them, identifying the weak one, calling the weak one and giving personal attention is the main concept of remedial teaching. So removing learning difficulties of weak student, that is the main purpose of remedial teaching. Now next is, which of the following is not a mathematical process? Which of the following is not a mathematical process? Memorizing is a mathematical process. If somebody will be telling you memorizing is a mathematical process, then this statement is absolutely wrong. This statement is absolutely wrong. This statement is absolutely wrong. So error play. So the correct one will be exactly memorizing, means statement which is not a mathematical process. Memorization should never be given. Okay, now error play a crucial role in learning of mathematics. This statement is, so definitely we say now, do mistakes, then only you will learn something. So that is one of a very important way to teach. Okay, so that means error play a very important role, error play a crucial role in learning of mathematics. This statement is what? This statement is true, because error reflects the thinking of child. No, it is not reflecting the thinking of child. Error is the natural process. Okay, so everyone, when they are learning first time, they are doing error. That does not mean that we are exactly going to criticize the child and we are going to say that child, hey, you are doing error, you have no scope of learning. No, not like that. It's a false statement, because mathematics is exact. No, mathematics is learning and mathematics can never be exact. Mistakes will be done. So mistakes will be done by everyone. I too do mistakes at the time of solving maths. So true, because error provide feedback about the mark they obtained 100%. So when they do error, they will be coming to know that okay, this is the place where the student learning is stopped. Means the steps after that is not coming correct, means कि after coming that step, after the child is exactly stopped there, and after that the child make mistake, means that means the child is not knowing how to solve this question. So I'm just telling you one error, then you will be able. So false, because error occurred due to carelessness. Sometimes a very careful person solving question can also do error. That does not mean that is exactly reflecting that error can be done by anyone. So here see, 4x plus 3 equal to 7x plus 8 is there. So now the child is exactly very carefully shifting this one and this one. So 4x minus 7x equal to 8 minus 3 will be there. So but many a times the student are doing what? When they are shifting, they are forgetting how to change the sign. So when they will forget to change the sign, but they are shifting, so they know how to shift. But here one time the child has shifted and put minus, but one time the child is exactly forgot to put minus and put plus. So that is exactly true, because error provide feedback. So next time when the teacher will be correcting the paper, the teacher will be know, because once we will see the paper, we will come to know that the child knows the concept, but somewhere it blocked the brain and the child is unable to execute it. So next time we will be telling the child to be careful while handling the steps. So we will provide the feedback here. So option will be 3. I hope it will be helpful for you. Now question number 47. So question number 47 is telling what? While teaching shapes, a teacher can plan a trip to historical places. So now you have to teach shapes, different type of three-dimensional shapes like cone, sphere, cylinder. Now the teacher wanted to teach the shapes of shapes, 3D shapes, and she took she took the children to historical places. Now it need to provide what called laser time, as most of the syllabus has been completed in time. It would be an opportunity to improve communication skill. Shapes are an integral part of every architecture, and such trips encourage connections across disciples. Spelling is not clear here. Okay. Now field trips are recommended by education board, so must be organized. So which one is exactly the correct one? Which one exactly the correct one, or they are asking now? Okay, while teaching shapes, a teacher can plan a trip to historical places. So it need to be provided leisure time, as most of the syllabus has been completed in time. So it would be opportunity. So which one you think is the most correct important part? So 100% shapes are an integral part of every architecture. So you know that whenever you will be seeing a building, so first you will be showing the brick. Brick is cuboidal in shape. Okay. Now you will see the pillar. Pillar will be cylindrical in shape. So 100% if any architecture will be seen, the architecture will have a shape. Cubical shape, spherical shape, pillar, cylindrical shape. So 100% she has done a correct work. Sorry, she has done a correct work by taking that, because first statement will be exactly the correct statement here, that only C will be the correct answer, because rest other is exactly she is having extra time, so only she is taking the children. No, she is wanting the child to understand that each and every architectural concept is incomplete without shapes. So shapes only now, because bricks will only make a room. Bricks will only make a wall. So when wall will combine, it will make a room. A room can be a square room, a room can be a cuboidal room. Then 2-3 rooms will be forming, then a cylindrical shape will be there. So pillars are of cylindrical shape. So definitely she has done a correct work. Shapes are an integral part of every architecture, and each strip encourage connections across this word I am not knowing, means unable to see, because DISCI, after that nothing is clear to me. It is mixing. Okay, so I'm just going to here. So answer C will be the correct. Why? Because this statement is exactly connections across disciplines or disciplines. E or E is mixing. So correct answer will be exactly this one. C will be the correct answer. So that is only one, because rest of that I am not going for it. Now go for question number 48. A student was asked to calculate the surface area of a cube. Student was asked to calculate what? Surface area of a cube. The student was exactly asked to find the surface area of a cube. So now what the student will be doing? He calculated the volume. This the reason of error in calculation is, okay, the student find the class boring as he does not like mathematics class. The student is not fit to study in the class. The student is not able to understand the concept of surface area and volume. The student has understood the concept of surface area and volume. Now which can be the correct answer? The student, so if he is doing mistake, then means what? He is not having interest in learning. So we are exactly going to blame the child that, hey, you don't have interest in learning, that's why you are making mistake. Is this the work of a teacher? Is this the work of a person? So what answer can be the correct answer? You itself think what answer can be the correct answer. Is it exactly due to the child error? So here you have to understand that the student has understood the concept of surface area and volume. Then why the student will make mistake? Now the student is not able to understand the concept of surface area and volume. So 100% if he is not understanding the concept of surface area and volume, then only he will make mistake. So but D will not be the correct option. Now A and B, student is not fit for study, so B will never be. Wherever B will be there, you cancel that part. So B is exactly a very demotivative part. So here it is demotivating, because child is not fit for a class. Why child is not fit for a class? Child is fit for a class, but exactly he has not got the proper training because of that. So exactly he has not understood the concept, that's why he is making mistakes. Okay, so this answer D will be the answer. In a meeting now, so we are exactly going to solve questions. What is the question here? So first, in a meeting of 4/5 of the members were female, what percentage of the members was there? Was this? So how much percentage? 4/5 of 4/5, 4/25%, sorry, 4/25% of the members were female. So if 100 members are there, so exactly what is the percentage? So 16% of the population is female. Nothing you have to do, just multiply it and you will be getting the percentage. We did nothing, so just multiplied it with 100. So just take that, okay, 100% person is there. From 100% person, 4 by 25 is female. So just when you multiply it, 16% is totally coming as female. Now we'll go for the next question. Question number 50, what it is telling that a shop a shop reduced its price by 10%. What is the new price of an item which was previously sold for 500 rupees? So now the real cost was 500 rupees. So now the shopkeeper has reduced the cost from 500, 10% of 500. First we will find 10% of 500. 10% of 500 is what? 50 rupees. Okay, so now initially they were selling it as 500 rupees. Now 10% reduction has been done. So now from 500 rupees, 50 rupees is reduced. Means 10% of 500 is 50 rupees. So how much rupees now they are paying? So no, sorry, how much rupees now they are selling is 450 rupees. So second will become the answer. 450 rupees will become the answer. Directly you do. Now what is the next question is 51 question is given below is a data set of temperature -6, -8, -2, 3, 2, 0, 4, 6, 8. Now here the most important thing is what is range? Range is highest minus lowest. Highest minus lowest. So what is the highest here? Highest here is 8. What is the lowest here? The lowest here is -8. So 8 of -8. So it is exactly coming as range is coming as minus into minus will become plus. So it will be coming as 16 degree. So what will be the correct answer there? The correct answer will be here is 16 degree. Now next question will be a coin is tossed 10 times and the outcome are observed. So look here, coin is one single coin is there. So in a coin one side is head, one side is tail. So that it is tossed 10 times. So one time head, tail, head, tail, tail, head, like that came. What is the probability of getting a head? So how many times? So that total number, first you have to understand that what is a sample space. Sample space is how many times an experiment has been done, that is exactly the sample space. So how many times it has been done? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So total how many times it has been done? 10 times. So it is coming as 10. But how many times you got head? Now count how many times you got head. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So event is coming. Event means how many times the event is getting a head. Event is what? Getting ahead. So probability formula is, so how many times it is coming? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it is coming 6 times. So probability formula is event by sample space. Event by sample space. So what is the event here? Event is 6, sample space is 10. So it is coming 3 by 5. 3 by 5. Let's see, 3 by 5 is anywhere option. 3 by 5 means fourth answer is exactly the correct option. Now 53rd question is what? 53rd question they are telling that कि a rational number, the number expressed 3 by 7. Now look here, 3 by 7 plus minus 7 by 8 equal to 25 by 56 shows that rational number are closed under subtraction, rational number are closed under multiplication, rational number are closed under division, rational numbers are closed under addition. The best part is rational numbers are closed under addition only. Always remember this part. So not in multiplication, so subtraction, multiplication, division, rational numbers are closed under addition. 3 by 5 plus 4 by 7 equal to 4 by 7 plus 3 by 5. So this is exactly addition. It will be closed under addition only. So question number 53 over. So we will go for question number 54. Which of the following 3D shape does not have a vertex? So vertex, which one will not have a vertex means a point where lines will be meeting. A point where lines will be meeting. Sphere do not have vertex. Sphere is a curved surface. Sphere is having a curved surface throughout. It does not have a vertex. Vertex means meeting point of line. Okay. So now next question what they are asking here is, I am going to solve the next question. 55th question is what they are saying that, look here. Here you have to learn it very nicely. 5 by 7 to the power 4 into 5 by 7 to the power minus 3 equal to 5 by 7 to the power 5x minus, I have to go there and check. 5x minus 2 is there. So now we have to solve. See, look here. When base is same, one important rule you learned, a to the power 3 into a to the power 2 means here 3 plus 2 will become 5. Okay. So when base is same, power will be added or subtraction. So here 5 by 7. Here what is there? 4 minus 3 equal to 5 by 7. 5x minus 2. So base same, cancel. Now 4 minus 3 is 1 equal to 5x minus 2. So minus 2 will shift this side. So 1 plus 2 equal to 5x. So 3 by 5 equal to x. So correct answer is 3 by 5, option number 2. Now question number 56, what they are telling that A, B, C are three rational numbers where A is equal to 3 by 5, 2 equal to 2 by 3 and C equal to minus 5 by 6. So which one of the statement will be correct? Right now only I told you a very important point. And that important point will be exactly, I have expressed that point. Now you itself see which one among them will be exactly going to satisfy that point. A plus B plus C, B plus A plus C, A plus B plus C, C plus A plus B. Which one is exactly going to be the true statement? Which one is exactly going to satisfy? Which one is exactly going to satisfy the answer? So now we have to check which sign will be exactly getting used. First I have to see the signs here. So which signs are exactly there? Here division is there. Here in this part division is there. Is it division there? I'm making it big. If division is there, then A will not become the answer. B will become the answer. Yes. So this part is exactly division. I told you that rational number. So this statement itself I told you now. All the three are rational numbers. Because a rational number definition says that any number in the form of P by Q. Rational number statement says that any number in the form of P by Q where Q is not equal to 0. So fractions are coming as rational number. But here sign of division is there. So rational number only understand addition. Okay. Addition between three numbers. Multiplication, division, subtraction they are not understanding. So here pure addition is there. So since here division is there, so that's why A will not be the answer. Always it will be A plus B plus C, and in any order if you will add, like 4 by 5, this you can add in any form, it will be exactly coming, addition only will be satisfied. But here division is used. So second will become the answer. What will become the answer? Second will become the answer. Okay. Shall we go geometric representation showing the relationship between a whole number and its part is pie chart, bar graph, pictograph or histogram. So there are different type of shapes. So but when we are representing a geometric representation showing the relationship between whole and its part. When see bar graph is not showing whole and its part. Bar graph will be like this, histogram will be more or like this. Okay, bar graph can be up far from each other, histogram will be all connected, pictograph will be exactly pictorial representation, like one banana will be, this is one apple is exactly equivalent to 5, so 2 apple means total 10. So, but pie chart is something which will be showing relationship. Like if you will be drawing a pie chart, then this will be 10% of 100. So 10% of 100. This is exactly 30% of 100. So this is exactly whole and its part. It is representing whole also and its part also. Like 10% also and 100% also. So the correct answer will be pie chart. The circular pies are made now. That is exactly representing. So this 50% of whole. So that is representing whole also and its part also. Okay. So now we will go for question number 58. Question number 58 is, if Q is the square of a natural number P, then P is the square of Q equal to Q, greater than Q, square of Q. So question number 58, what will be the answer? So now I am going to solve this question. If Q is the square of natural number P, Q is the square of natural number P, then P is, so take root on both sides. P is the root of Q. The square root of q. Option A is the correct answer. That's it. Nothing you have to do in this question. Now here 121. If you will be solving this question, 91 plus 70. So first 91, it is exactly there, plus root under 70. Then here plus 121. Square root of 121 is 11. The moment you will be adding 11 here, so 70 plus 11 will become 81. Square root of 81 is 9. 9. Then 91 plus 9 is 100. 91 plus 9 is 100. So it will become 10. So correct answer will be 10. Now we will go for next question. In a park, 784 plants are arranged so that numbered plants in a row is same as that number of rows. The number of plants in each row is, so 784 are there, and we have to exactly plant how many number of plants means specific rows will be there. I think question, in a park 784 plants are arranged so that numbers, here some words are missing, plants in a row is same as the number of rows. Okay, number of plants planted in a row will be equal to number of rows. So this will be exactly like I understood this part as like 2 rows are there, so 2 plants. Here number of rows and number of plants are same. 2 rows are there, and here each row is having 2 plants. So 2 rows, 2 plants. 3 rows means the number of planting is exactly 3. So this is exactly the concept of square root. So you just take the square root of 784. Let's check this answer is coming correct or not. 784 square root means 2, 2 3 is 6, 2 9 is 18, 2 2 is 4. Then 2 1 is 2, 2 9 is 18, 2 6 is 12. Then 14, 14. So 14 into 2, 28. So 28, so square root concept only. That means number of rows and number of plants are same. This is what the question was asking about. Now, this maths 30 question set I have finished. So now this is one set I have made for 30 questions of maths. I hope it might help you. So if it will help you, share it with your friends also, so that they can also get advantage of this. Okay, bye everyone.